at a party like this. A Percabeth High School Alternate Universe Fanfiction, Part 2. How did Percy lose this totally out-of-place girl? No idea. He was weaving between people, running into them and angering them greatly. He groaned and said another offhanded sorry to a couple he ran straight into as they were fiercely making out.
My God, how did she disappear? And I don't even know her name, he muttered to himself.
Percy's sea-green eyes scanned around, hoping to find that curly-haired blonde, but instead found a familiar-looking punk girl.
Yo, Thalia!
Percy called, coming closer. Her eyes slowly opened, and when they landed on the boy, she smirked greatly. Well, isn't it that helphead? She drawled, earning a scowl from Percy.
Yeah, whatever. Anyways, have you seen a, really out-of-place girl around?
Percy asked quickly. Thalia raised a questioning eyebrow before taking another sip of the very much spiked punch.
Why do you ask? She said slowly. Well, I met this girl, and she's not punk or rock or emo or goth or anything. She's popular. Blue tank top and jean shorts. Anyway, she's pretty cool to talk to, and I asked her what her name was, and then she just walked away.
Percy gushed out quickly.
And I've asked her around, and no one has seen her, he added.
Thalia was quiet for a minute or two before bursting out laughing, hysterical hyena laughs. Oh my God, she choked out, taking a large gulp of the punch and wiping tears at her eyes.
What?
Percy cried. He crossed his arms irritably and frowned. Thalia was giving no answers, only laughing.
Seriously, he said irritably.
Thalia flashed him a grin.
I know exactly who you're talking about, she said, finally calming down.
Percy's eyes went wide and almost jumped.
Wait, really? What's her name? Where is she? He blurted out excitedly.
Thalia shook her head and laughed at him again. Nah, if she doesn't want to tell you who she is, I'm not going against that. The black-haired girl shuddered. She's scary, man. And that's coming from me. Percy stepped back and gulped. Thalia was a terrifying person. Even some teachers would let her get away with vaping because she was so scary. If someone scared her, then that person was truly frightening.
Okay. Where can I find her? Percy said.
Thalia raised a brow at him. Well, if you have a death wish, she started, odds are she's dancing in the mosh pit or outside. And just to let you know, she's smart as ever. If she doesn't want to be found, she won't be, no matter what she's wearing, Thalia warned him before stalking away. Percy watched her figure disappear into the many bodies in the dark lighting inside. He really wanted to find her, but apparently that would be a feat next to impossible. Percy made his way through the crowd and out the door, and of course, there were people drinking and dancing outside. But apparently everyone preferred to stay in the heat of the house instead. It was a cool night. Perhaps if one didn't have a jacket on, it could be chilly. There was a nice breeze, a breath of fresh air from the stuffiness inside. Percy glazed over the front yard, hearing laughter and screams from the back, and decided to take a short, small stroll down the block. But as he walked, he noticed a figure by the mailbox. They had a very familiar-looking head of hair. "Hey!" Percy cried out, speeding up his pace. The person turned around. It was too dark and too far away to be sure if it was a smile on their face or a scowl. "Well," she said with a low, amused chuckle. "We meet again." Percy huffed out a yeah and almost jogged up to her. "You disappeared," he said. She slyly smiled. "And it just so happens that I can do it again." The blonde mystery girl turned on her heel and was clearly ready to head out of the property lot. Wait, Percy said, grabbing hold of her wrist before she could sashay away a step too far. Yes, she said, turning around quickly and looking up at him with an almost half-lidded gaze. Don't run away, he said, suddenly feeling nervous from the skin-to-skin contact. The girl gave a low laugh and raised a brow at him. Oh, she said in an amused, questioning voice. So you want me to stay? Percy swallowed hard. Yeah. The girl clicked her tongue and somehow got her wrist back. She looped her hands behind her back, and she eyed him and stepped to the side, walking towards the house. Percy stood there, shocked and confused. Are you coming? The blonde's teasing voice rang through, and Percy mindlessly turned around and followed her wherever she was going. She weaved them through the crowd, and Percy was somehow able to keep up with her slick and smooth motions, her perfectly nimble body moving throughout the masses as his large and clanky one bashed into them, but nevertheless he stayed hot on her tail, not wanting her to leave his sights again. They made their way upstairs, not into a bedroom, but into an office with a desk and a pea-green couch. The blonde-haired, gray-eyed girl made herself comfy in the chair while Percy awkwardly stood in the middle of the room. So, why were you looking for me? She asked, tilting her head to the side like a curious owl. You were nice to talk to, and... He stopped before he could blurt out that he thought that she was absolutely gorgeous. I wanted to know your name, he finished after a couple of seconds. The girl nodded and tissed her tongue a couple of times, swirling in the office chair. What is your name? Percy pressed the question again. The girl chuckled under her breath. Oh, I liked my title. Do you really want to change it? The blonde said with a mock pout. Percy nodded quickly. Yes, good God did he want to know her name, and maybe her favorite color, her favorite song, what made her laugh, what made her mad. He wanted to know how she worked, what made her tick. Oh God, Percy had literally just met this mystery girl, and this mysterious and beautiful stranger girl, and maybe an hour girl. And he was already enamored by her. Well, why don't you start with the introductions, she said, a hand lazily waving at him. Okay, hey, I'm Percy, he said, a hand raking through his jet black hair. The girl's eyes blinked quickly, and she looked like she was quietly sputtering. Her previously cool and calm look was gone, replaced by one of pure shock and confusion. In a flash it was gone, but it had lingered long enough for Percy to know. But it had lingered for too long for Percy to not have noticed it. Jackson? She breathed out, her tone on high alert. He gave her a confused but firm head nod, to which she groaned and hit her forehead with her hand. Oh my God, she said to herself. The black-haired boy looked at the girl confused. Percy Jackson, she hummed, chewing on his name like she couldn't believe a human could possibly own such a name. The swimmer, the sea enthusiast. I can't believe it, she said with a slight laugh. Percy shook his hands like he was in a jazz dancing production. You're wearing a leather jacket, she said suspiciously, spinning side to side in the chair. Percy barked back a laugh. So, you got something against leather? He said with a smirk. She shook her head, a small smile tugging at her lips. Not at all. I have 3. This time, it was Percy's eyebrow that raised. Why do you need, 3 leather jackets? One will last you a lifetime, he asked. The blonde chuckled and shook her head. Did I say they were all black? Whenever did I say that? Do tell, she sassed with an innocent look. Percy laughed at her words.
I guess you didn't. Why do you own 3 anyways?
For the colors, of course. Red as blood, black as night.
And?
Pale pink as cherry blossom flowers, the girl said, looking down to the floor embarrassed.
Sounds unlike you, strangely enough, Percy commented.
The girl rolled her eyes at him, but it was clearly a playful move. Oh, really? She said sarcastically. Still, I feel as if my eyes are tricking me, she said, moving the topics quickly. She stopped spinning to look him over. From the top of his head to the bottom of his shoe, her eyes moved, inspecting every little thing about him. It was that moment that made Percy slightly self-conscious. He was now acutely aware of all the imperfections of his appearance. The old and worn combat boots, the holes in jeans that were not originally there when he had bought them, the wornness of the leather from that one time it took a dive under a car somehow, and the never-tame hair as wild and free-flowing as the ocean. She saw it all, and he knew it.
Well, I stopped swimming for the school years ago, if you're wondering, Percy explained.
She opened her mouth in a silent O shape. Sighing, the girl stood up and stretched. It's so hot in this house. Selena invited far too many people, she mused. Percy nodded in agreement before an idea settled into his mind.
You want to get out of here?
He asked with a mischievous smile.
I got a car and nowhere else to go.
The girl looked at him for a second, clearly trying to decide if this would be a bad idea or not. Why not?